What's going on, everybody? It's your boy Young Hawk the 5 Deuce Gun. Welcome to another edition of Let's Play Live. You see all the colors going crazy right now is because my PlayStation camera is currently filming directly into my television. Why am I doing that? Because your boy is sitting here filming in on this motherfucking TV. The reason I'm doing so, well, actually there's no sense in putting that on there at all, so we're gonna go ahead and back this out. But yeah, I'm actually live streaming through this thing that you see right now, shooting my camera at the television because the television is about to switch screens and show you guys my emulators that is on my throwback Xbox right now. As you can see, I don't know if it's filming it backwards, which is pretty sure it is filming it backwards, but we're gonna go ahead and get this popping here. Get my CoinOps 6R10 emulator program started. This emulator program, by the way, ladies and gentlemen, plays some of the previously unplayable games. If you guys had MAME OS or one of the later versions of MAME and couldn't play games like Raiden Fighters Jet, Killer Instinct 1, Killer Instinct 2, and things of that nature from the arcade emulations program off your MAME, fear not, this one actually plays all the games that you see on there. Not one of these games that I've clicked on thus far, though I have not played the 6,595 games that I have, as you can see in the upper center of the screen. I went through about, let's see, let's go back to my favorites list. I got down to the O. So I got down to the O, which is what I'm about to play right now, my Outrun 2. I got down to the O on alphabetical order running down the arcade list. It goes from numerical order through Z, games that was released all around the world, including ROM hacks and homebrews. I have, so far I've seen arcade, let's go over, Amiga, Amstrad, Atari 2600, Atari ST, Classic. I'm thinking this is Xbox because there's black right here, and then there's regular Doom on PC, so I'm thinking that's like PC games or something. Doom, GoldenEye. So they made GoldenEye, they made a Doom game, or GoldenEye in Doom form. Final Doom. All these say Classic, by the way, so I don't know what Classic, what specific console Classic falls in. I'm guessing Xbox, because there you can see there's regular Halo Part 1. So these are Xbox games, and Xbox homebrews and hacks under Classic. So as you can see, I have Xbox games on here, as well as you've seen arcade, Amstrad, Atari 2600, Atari ST. What else? That's Heretic. A lot of games in this Doom shit, man. Hexen. Yeah, remember Hexen. Panzer Dragoon Orta. Well, that's hot. Got Panzer Dragoon Orta underneath of this joint. That's hot. Panzer Dragoon was my shit. I didn't even know. See, ladies and gentlemen, I'm looking at a bunch of shit that I didn't even know I had my damn self. Quake 2. I wasn't really a Quake guy. The House of the Dead 3. Yeah, these are the Xbox ports. I'm starting to notice that. I see Classic up there. Now these 5-star ones. Noticing the stars. Like if you take a look at the top of the screen or the top of the demo box that they're showing you the thing off of, there's actually let me see. Yeah, there's actually a thing up there. I apologize, I'm getting a text message right now. There's actually a thing up there that's showing you the console that it's playing on. So as I went to Panzer Dragoon Orta, you see that's an Xbox game. You see the Xbox controller come up. But in terms of what the actual what's the name is for, that I don't know. That I have absolutely no idea about. Not too certain. Yeah, I'm not too certain about Panzer, the rest of it with the stars on it. My bad, once again. Let's see. 2010, the ColecoVision. So now there was only a few games underneath that classic. Those are a couple of cool games underneath there. So I gotta make sure I look at those. That's awesome. ColecoVision. And instead of going there like that, each one of these systems, by the way, goes their games from A through Z or numerical order through Z, depending on, you know, how many there were. That's Commodore 64. Here we are with the Game Boy. And I believe they actually get Game Boy Advance. Yep, got Game Boy and Game Boy Advance as well. Guardian Heroes Advanced. Advance Wars 1 and 2. So Game Boy 1 and also Game Boy Advance titles on there. Alien Hominid was actually a very great title on the Game Boy Advance. I really fuck with it. Contra-esque. Altered Beast, Guardian Realms. Never really got into this. Didn't really play it myself. So I'm not too sure. Astro Boy, Avatar The Last Airbender, Batman Rise of the Sinzu, Black Belt Challenge, Game Boy Advance fighting games, huh? There's one I don't remember seeing. Boulder Dash EX, Boxing Fever, Bruce Lee, Return of the Legend, Castlevania Aria of Sorrow. That's awesome. They got Castlevania games on here from that Game Boy Advance, Circle of the Moon, as well as Harmony of Dissonance. So all of them on there in their original form. That's great. CT Special Forces 1 through 3 for the Game Boy Advance. The Disney Motorsports Cross Joint, DK King of Swing, Dogs 2, Double Dragon Advanced. Excellent remake. I actually had Dragon Ball Advanced Adventure. This was a hot title that was on the Game Boy Advance. I had part 1 and 2 of this. Drill Dozer, Egg Mania, Extreme Madness, Extreme Ghostbusters. I believe this was based on the cartoon series that used to come on Fox. FX Climax Ground Zero. Let me reset this joint real fast. I apologize for that, folks. Froze up on a G, so I had to. Well, it didn't freeze up on me, but I had to go ahead and hit it up because I noticed that other screen, the demo screen, wasn't switching when I switched over. So usually when it does, I have to reset it. But instead of resetting, I just give it a hard reset, a soft reset. Do it that way. By the way, this list right here with the yellow games in it, these are ones that I picked out as favorites so far, just going from A through O on the arcades list. Let's see, let's go back in there. Atari XL. ColecoVision, Commodore, Game Boy. We were on Advance. We were down here past the CT Special Forces. Yeah, we were down by F-Zero, Climax, GP Legend, and now Maximum Velocity. The Game & Watch Gallery, Gekkeido Advance, King Taro's Revenge. Nice Final Fight style beat 'em up. Ghost Rider. Grand Theft Auto Advance Throwback, Gunstar Superhero. So that was the sequel-less remake on the Game Boy Advance from Gunstar Heroes from the Sega Genesis. Hardcore Pool. As you can see, man, but there's a bunch of games on it. This is all Game Boy Advance stuff on this list. I got Legend of Zelda: The Minish Cap. Now, see, I've never played this one. Never had the Minish Cap. Now I get to play it. And for all you collectors and gaming enthusiasts who go out and retro gaming advocates, I fuck with y'all. I dig y'all. Jay and Billy of the Game Chasers, Alpha Omega Sin, Chris from, no, not Chris from Talk About Media, what's his name, the Angry Video Game Nerd, James and Mike, those two guys, you know, everybody that do something, the Gaming Historian, Retroware, you know, all you guys, I respect you, I fuck with you guys 100%, but because I'm in for playing the game and don't really care about having the physical box in terms of these games, like nowadays, you know, right now my PlayStation 4 camera is sitting up on a bunch of PlayStation 4 games of mine. There's about 13 PS4 games that this thing is sitting on right now, ranging from Battlefield Hardline, Final Fantasy Type O HD, all the way down to the Devil May Cry Definitive Edition, the Dynasty Warriors 8 Empires, which I still didn't open yet. So I got a shitload of games on my newest console and things of that nature. But, you know, I don't mind owning emulators in my chipped up Xbox. I wasn't really a Microsoft fan for computers back on Windows, for like Windows operating system, so I could care less now. But having these retro games and being able to, you know, play them, like I said, some of these games I never ever played before in my life. And now I get that opportunity, so that's awesome. Okay, we're now Nintendo. I jumped way ahead. We're on Nintendo. I did press forward. TNC Super Factory, or TNC Surf Factory. I used to have that on regular Nintendo. Me and my older brother James used to play it all the time. Tecmo World Cup Soccer. Bet y'all don't remember that. I remember Tecmo World Wrestling. It reminded me of the fake pro wrestling. Turtles 1, very hard. Well, it wasn't hard as much as it was frustrating, in my opinion. This was that work in the arcade. We loved it on regular Nintendo too, me and my homie Thirst. The Manhattan Project right here. Not as familiar with this one as the other two, because when we had this one, it was kind of like a rental from West Coast Video, I believe. Tekken 2. See, this is what I mean by homebrews and hacks and things of that nature. Like on emulation lists, you'll sometimes get games that people themselves have made, and I respect that. First of all, my hat's off to any person that can literally take the engine of a game, rip it, mess with it, and make their own version of a game off of it. Like, to the people that was doing Mugen shit and making their own versions of Marvel vs. Capcom 3 years before that bullshit abomination they came out with was released. Oh man, I'm not gonna lie to you. There was a version of that Marvel vs. Capcom 3 shit that a Mugen user had made that was off the fucking chain. Better than the actual game that came out, because it was using coding from like Marvel vs. Capcom 2 and then added sprites of characters from all throughout the series, but basically made them render themselves and fighting mechanics of Marvel vs. Capcom 2. That was awesome. Here we are with Nintendo 64 games. I'll just scroll through the list as you can see there. We got everything. Those Castlevanias can be skipped. Conquers, all the Cruising USA's, Deadly Arts, Diddy Kong. Don't worry, I know what you guys are looking for. Don't worry. Fighter's Destiny, Fighting Force 64. Look at that. Ah, I knew what you guys were looking for. Yeah, that's there. You can see it. It's James Bond. James Bond. This was the first-person shooter that started the entire craze, in my opinion, for first-person shooters on consoles. While I wasn't a PC shooter game fan or PC gaming fan enthusiast of any nature, I would respect that games like Quake, Doom, Duke Nukem existed before this came out. But as I stated specifically, GoldenEye was the first console first-person shooter that brought the whole multiplayer thing into the facets of the world. And then you wait a few years later, you get the inclusion of the Xbox and the introduction of the original Xbox, and they come out with some game called Halo, and they act as if Halo was the very first game that ever had dual-wielding weapons. No, it wasn't. 64's GoldenEye 007 was. Bunch of track and fields and international superstars. Some of these games we really played back in the day, like at Power Gamer, me, Sean, Walk, Thirst. We used to play some of these games like the Nagano Joint. We used to get it popping. Knockout Kings 2000. Even though I hated this game, not hated, that's such a disrespectful word used.
I just dislike this game. I mean, you can look